his departure from the group Raging Fyah 2 years ago, fans of the band's music have been anticipating that its former lead singer, Kumar, would launch a solo career in music. And finally, the St. Elizabeth-born singer is beginning to meet that expectation.
Before I be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave.
On our stage right now to talk his first album, which is described as a mental, physical, and spiritual movement in music, is no other than Kumar. And he's also premiering a brand new video. Kumar, sir, welcome.
Greetings, Sir Winford. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you, sir.
Yes, John.
You know, bless up. And how's this thing treating you, by the way?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's affecting almost every single industry worldwide, you know,
Yes.
this whole lockdown and even just COVID-19. I think it's, you know, as Shelley said, you know, there's a new normal that we need to find because
Yes.
really and truly, you know, being at home for the last 2 months, you know, I kind of, you know, got some time to really get more in tune with my family, first and foremost. And second of all, more time to actually, you know, vision, you know, my project and see where exactly I want it to go. So, you know, it's been good to me and, you know, food no short because we are farm.
Yes, because home is St.
Yeah, home
Elizabeth.
is St. Elizabeth, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
But less distracted, right, when you're in the country?
Definitely.
Social distancing is not much of a
Yeah,
challenge.
because we live on an 8-acre farm. You have to shout loud for hear the neighbor.
See, yeah. You know? Okay, boss. So let's go back a
Yes,
little bit
Judge.
now, quickly, to 2 years ago. What caused the band to be disbanded?
Well, I mean, I think it's just differences with the ideas and opinions and where we really wanted to go as a band, you know? I mean, there's still not a lot of explanation being done on both sides, my side or the band, in terms of what really happened because, you know, it wasn't the easiest decision for me to make, you know, walking away from something that I had invested practically my entire life into. 3 albums and touring and getting nominated for a Grammy. It was a very difficult decision to make, but, you know, in the end, I think once you know, you know. Once you believe in yourself, then, you know, I wasn't the first either to leave a band, nor will I be the last. I think I'm just, you know, following my course that, you know, the Father set out for me.
But it was amicable, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, yes and no, you know, because, I mean, the relationships, you know, have somewhat, you know, deteriorated in a little way, you know, in terms of the communication that we used to have as a band. So there is not much communication between Kumar and the guys. But, I mean, I still perform the songs, I still sing the music. And, I mean, in the music business, I think that's beneficial to them and myself if they're performing as well and singing. So I think that's amicable, that we all can agree that, you know, the songs were done as a team and, you know, everybody still has a right to perform and sing the music. So overall, I wish them all the best, though, you know, in terms of their future endeavors. I'm not quite sure what they've been up to.
Okay, my friend, it is very commmen for groups to disband.
Yes,
especially vocal groups. I don't know if it will ever stop.
Yeah.
Or if there's any remedy, really, for it.
Yes, I think there's a remedy. I think as musicians in Jamaica and artists, especially if you're thinking to join a band, like, nobody expect anything bad to happen, you know? So we start out as brethren, but then as brethren, I think most times we need to formalize our businesses amongst ourselves.
Okay.
You know, because friend and company, you know, and business don't work. You know, you really have to have, you know, goals and visions and stick to them. And if somebody messes up, then somebody has to take responsibility.
Yeah, you know, that's
and I think living like that, you know, would save a lot of drama in the end because me and you are brethren and you give me 2 words to a song and we never sign off on any publishing agreement and the song release and argument pop up. So this is not the case with us as a band, but I'm just saying this is something that musicians and artists need to think about before them say, yeah man, we're a band of 7 or 8 people and 5 years down the line, the person who did a lot of the work has nothing to show for being in the band.
Yeah, you know? That's profound, my friend, and it's important that you touch on it, you know, because we know this. It's true that emotions don't run business.
No.
Business is run on principle.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And to the fans them out there, I mean, a lot of fans have been, you know, asking the same question about, you know, what happened and blah, blah, blah. But really and truly, you know, my new album, if you go out and get it, you will realize exactly what happened. Kumar is a musician, Kumar is a songwriter, and, you know, more than that, I have, you know, a feeling inside of me that I really want to share with everybody else. I want to share this with the world. So my music is as honest as you will get it. I try not to follow the trends or what's happening.
Yes.
So even if 2 people buy my CD or 2 people download it, I mean, that's not the aim, but I would feel very good to know that it affected somebody's life in a positive way, or they were inspired to say, yo, if Kumar can put out the album after I'm leave, this major thing he was doing, and he's doing well with his album, I think I can do it. So it's really to inspire young artists as well to say, yo, you don't really need a big label or a big backing behind you all the time to be honest with yourself or to create a body of work that people will like, people will love it once you believe in yourself.
I think people are feeling the sincerity.
Yes, I can.
So talk more about the album. Jump into it for me.
Yeah, well, Culture Walk is a different sound, So I would say to people who are going out to get the album, don't expect, because, I used to hear that expectation is the mother of disappointment.
Yes.
If you expect Kumar to be putting out an album with, what you know Kumar for, then I think you're going to be surprised when you get the record, because it's not just reggae music, it's not just roots music, which is my first market, my first love, roots rocking. But over time, I realized traveling, has given me more than rice and peas on Sunday in terms of your culture. Because we as Jamaicans, every Sunday rice and peas, people used to eat with them carrot juice. Now, I think, having been exposed to Indonesian culture, Mauritius, and, American societies as well as African societies and, Russia, all over the world where we've traveled, I realized one thing, is common amongst people, and is that we all share this need for being hopeful. No care who is a leader, who is a political leader, who is your... We all have this need, If you're atheist, if you believe in a God, everybody still wants a better day. They want a better tomorrow. And
that's a common thread.
Yeah, that's a common thing. And how you get there is usually through, conversations of understanding other people's struggles and understanding other people's successes, to really. So that's what really inspired me to say, all right, I'm going to take a culture walk just through myself and through how my worldview was shaped over the last 10 years. Because growing up in the country in St. Elizabeth, my worldview is different from now, as a youth traveling the world and actually seeing that, we can live together as people, Yeah.
And people are people wherever they are, regardless of race, creed, and culture. Again, important that we share that, because sometimes we're not prepared as we should.
No.
Jamaicans, the world calls you when you bust in music.
Exactly.
But already are we, some of us, to exploit, to meet what they expect of us.
And that's it. Practice makes permanent. That is my advice. I love rehearsals. I have to rehearse and practice and make sure I get my shows right.
So discipline.
Discipline, man.
Yes.
And I'm not exercising as much as I should be, in terms of making sure your lungs still, can manage the high notes that you're always putting in.
But it is.
But I know
what's critical.
It's critical to your development as an artist. And as an artist, if you're not a good songwriter and you have a great vocal, find people who can write great songs for you. And these are the little things that would separate, the Chronics and the Protege from a lot of other people, because they're really writing good songs, putting out good music, and there's a lot more mentionable artists as well in our industry who have taken, that stance in terms of making sure that the quality is up there.
How deep are you in writing?
Well, it's my first love. I love writing.
Yes.
I really enjoy the process of.
So pretty much your work is your own
my work
writing.
is my own. Most of my work is my writing. On the album, there's a song "Loyalty," which was written by my drummer Sean P. Drummer and producer.
So this album then would be speaking to the world.
Definitely.
And when you write, you see the world in your mind's eye, so to speak.
Yes, and I will feel, because sometimes I try to
feel the world.
I shut my eye most of the time when forward, because if you really go around using your eyes, judging the world, then really and truly half of what you know is a lie, because most times what you see is not what's really happening. So I think if people get a little bit more compassionate, and actually ground themselves, ground yourself towards the energies that are floating around sometimes, and you realize that, say that lady over there, so when it looks so well, we can actually say a nice thing to her just for she feel a little bit better, because when she feel better, she might push out a good energy somewhere else, and the positivity will continue.
Credit some people.
Yeah, well, on the album, I have producers like Javani Morrison from True Ambassador. Weekday, I have Notice Productions, Unga and Welsh, on the album, producing 2 songs. I have Siobhan as a feature, I have Agent Sasko, one of my favorite dancehall artists, I have M1 on the album, from Dead Presidents, in the US, and I mean, there's a lot more mentions, Walter Bueno, we have Sean P, as I said earlier, on a production. We have Riff Raff from Nebulous and Robert Livingston and productions. So I mean, the album is star-studded, I think, and it has a whole heap of, whole heap of great music.
In production and in performance.
Definitely. And it's distributed by Baco Records, and it was executively produced by myself and my manager, Daniel Pata.
All right, pause for a second, Kumar, and let's just take a shot from your album right here.
La la la. What if it's in our heads?
Wow, Dry Bones. That's the title of that one from Kumar. And so much more. Great tracks like that on the album, Bridget.
Definitely.
Listen, so what love are you getting locally, though?
I mean, I'm getting a lot of love locally, really and truly. Me hear, some of the radio disc jocks playing, they Remember Me, which is the first single,
Yeah.
Before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave. So, I mean, I'm getting a lot of love from that song, A lot of views went on that video on YouTube since it's been up. But more importantly, worldwide, I mean, my biggest fan base right now is in Mauritius. And I visited there last year and performed, to some amazing crowds last year, sold out shows, with my band, And that was a really great feeling, So now I'm looking to go back to Mauritius and Rodrigue Island and Madagascar.
See what I'm saying? Good music, my friend, good music. And it's important that you share with our youths because they are in demand, they're special. The world is interested in them.
Indeed.
And they should know what the world wants of them.
The world wants honesty. The world wants realness. The world wants you to be yourself.
Do you feel like more youths want to walk the way you walk, the way the Chronics and the near roots, them as we call them?
I think a lot of them are inspired to walk this road, but are not quite sure of the steps to take to walk this road because patience is the first thing.
They're being influenced by what is immediately in front of them.
I mean, it's there, and I can't to bash the youth them because most of them realize that, all right, you have a song today that, is not really a positive song, but guess what, you get some attention on it. All right, fine, you get some attention on it, but how far is that song gonna go? Because, you might have 300,000 people in the world that listen to your record, for the first month, and after that, the streamings drop, and nobody cares, and then you come with another one that you get the same amount of streaming for a minute, and it drop. What about creating music that 10 years from now, after COVID, you can put in a COVID album? You can put in an album and say, say, Kumar, they drop an album within the COVID time, and you listen to it, and it actually is relevant still 10 years later, So the youth, them need to understand that it's not, about the love of money or the love of, the popular lifestyle or just being famous or whatever. If you don't love music, now it's going to show. If you don't love music, I think being under lockdown now and not being able to tour, not being able to travel and doing all of these things, a lot of people might try something else, or a lot of artists might get frustrated with themselves.
We've noticed, and we're going to address it later with the king of the dancehall, where in this time of COVID, when the most important response is unity among all peoples of the planet. And it seems to me that in our space, in our dancehall local space, youths find time, too much time, to be engaging, to recycle war among themselves, among their own dancehall cohorts in music, man resurrect old wars, and are using the time, this time when too much time, we have too much time on our hands, to engage enemies or pick something on somebody if you didn't have an enemy.
I mean, two things, Winford. The devil find work for idle hands. And the second thing is that our culture, back to the word culture, our culture is made up of, who's bigger, who are the better one, who better than who. And I mean, with that kind of mindset over the years, the clash culture, which I enjoy it in the sound system. I love sound system and that culture where, you have two sound a clash and the better sound with the most dub win. But when it comes to artists clashing with them one another, if it can be clean, then that's fine. But once it becomes something where people getting personal and finding time to pick on somebody else, I mean, I don't really find time to put my brain over them specific. I don't even listen.
So Kumar, Blessings here, sir. I must
Yes, sir.
shake your hand, but...
Virtual shit.
Virtual shake, okay.
Bluetooth.
Reggie, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.
Wishing you all the very best with your album. We'll be tracking it. We'll be tracking your career as well and reporting to people
Yes, yeah.
where you going with, and we expect good things.
Yeah, man, give thanks.
And we know your mindset is all about good things. So blessings, sir. Walk good.